Hello, my wonderful Advanced Algebra students. We're now going to be looking at Section 5.3 worksheet and working a couple of problems from it. Add, subtract, and multiply polynomials. We're going to concentrate on multiplying polynomials. There are two tougher problems on here, or tougher types of problems. Problem number 34 is what we will start with. You see it on your screen. It has three sets of parentheses. What we must do is multiply the first two together. Once we get that answer in simplified form, then we will multiply by the third parenthesis. So let us start with FOIL on the first two. 2s times 3s is 6s squared. The outside terms, 2s times negative 2 is negative 4s. The inside, 1 times 3s, positive 3s. And finally, the last, 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Put all of that in parentheses and make sure that we continue to multiply that by 4s minus 3 at the end. Before we go ahead and multiply the first parenthesis times the second, let's make sure that we add like terms and rewrite. 6s squared minus s minus 2. Negative 4s plus 3s is negative 1s, or just negative s. We can now use extended FOIL to multiply the other two sets of parentheses. We are going to take 6s squared and multiply it by both 4s and negative 3. Then we will take negative s and multiply it by 4s and negative 3. And finally, negative 2 times each of the 4s and the negative 3, giving us a total of 6 terms. Let's start. 6s squared times 4s will give us 24s cubed. Six s squared times negative 3 is negative 18s squared. Now moving to negative s. Negative s times 4s is negative 4s squared. Negative s times negative 3. A negative times a negative is a positive 3s. And finally, multiply the negative 2 times each of those two terms. Negative 2 times 4s is negative 8s. Negative 2 times negative 3. A negative times a negative is a positive plus 6. Our job now is to combine like terms. We have two sets of like terms. We have two s squared terms, and we have two s terms. We have no other s cubed, so we write that back down, untouched. Negative 18 minus 4 is negative 22s squared. 3s minus 8s is negative 5s. The 6 is untouched, so we simply write that down at the end. This cubic is our final answer. Let us now move to problem 46. We have 3z plus 7y cubed. When we get a problem like this, we need to realize that this is actually 3z plus 7y multiplied by itself a total of 3 times. As we did in the last problem, we will multiply the first two sets of parentheses using FOIL. Once we get that result, we will then multiply that times the third set of parentheses. Let us work. Using FOIL in the first two sets of parentheses, 3z times 3z, first terms. That gives us 9z squared. Outside, 3z times 7y. 3 times 7 is 21. Listing them in alphabetical order, y, z. Inside, 7y times 3z. The same thing, 21 yz. And last, 7y times 7y, giving us 49 y squared. Put that entire thing in parentheses, multiply it by 3z plus 4y. Combine like terms before we use extended FOIL. We have like terms in the middle, a 21yz and another 21yz. Let us combine those into a total of 42yz. We may now attempt extended FOIL. Let us multiply 9z squared by each of the two terms in the parentheses at the right. 9z squared times 3z is 27z cubed. 9z squared times 4y is 36 y z squared. Moving on to the 42yz. Multiply it by each of the two terms in the right-hand parentheses. 42yz times 3z. 42 times 3 is 126. 126 y z squared. 42 times 4 is 168 y squared z. And finally, 49y squared times each of the two terms in the parentheses. 49 times 3 is 147. Y squared z. 49 times 4 is 196. And this will be a y cubed term. Let us combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we will get 27z cubed. It has no other like terms. There are two yz squared terms. 36 plus 126 will leave us with 162. Y z squared. 168 and 147 will leave us with 315. Sorry, I had to do that one in my head. Took me a little bit, huh? And we will have a y squared z. And finally, the 196 y cubed is untouched. And that is our final answer in all of its glory. I hope this helped you on the remaining problems on the worksheet. Thank you.